Let's say that you're at the very beginning of your journey, like today is day one. And if you are actually at the beginning of your journey, then there's no real reason to pretend, right? But if you're not, then let's just pretend for a second. Now, let's say that you and I are having a conversation, right? A very similar interaction to this one. And as we're conversing, I decide to ask you a question. And the question is this: if you were to start practicing minimalism today, where or what would you start with first? Just think about it for a second. Now, I'm sure your first thought was something like, I would start with my kitchen pantry because Lord knows that there is probably a lot of spoiled food in there. Or I would definitely start with my makeup collection because I just have way too much makeup. Or maybe you thought, I would definitely start with my bedroom closet, because that is definitely the most cluttered space in my home. But wait, let's take a few steps back really quick, right? Because I really want to challenge you on the answer you just gave. Because when you practice minimalism, your physical space should not be the first place you start. You should start with your mind. You start with making the decision mentally that I'm ready to let go. So I'm sure all of us have asked ourselves this question at the very beginning of our journeys. And I know for a fact that I've had these conversations with myself on multiple occasions. And if you're just starting your journey, I'm sure you're asking yourself this question now: where do I start? I just have too many things. I have way too many clothes. I have so much stuff in my space, but I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Just where do I start? It was one day when something just hit me in my chest, right? It just kind of knocked some sense into me. And it was a Saturday morning. I had nothing to do, and I woke up and I looked around this very bedroom, right? At the stuff that I was still holding on to, all of the Mr. Smooth things, that persona that I was holding on to, all of the things that I was holding on to try to impress other people, all of the things that were just in case items to me that I was holding on to. And I asked myself, right? I had a conversation with myself in that moment. And I asked myself, when do I let go? When do I let go of this Mr. Smooth person? When do I let go of the crap that I'm holding on to? And I turned and I looked at myself and I answered it by saying, why not now? Now, I know your mind is just racing in circles trying to grasp this idea of why minimalism is mental first, right? And I know that I've shared in a previous video how if your mind and your heart is not clear, then it's impossible to be clear about everything else that is out here, right? Now, while I love this statement so much, I really want to give you something else to think about that approaches this from a different angle. Have you ever wondered why, whenever you declutter your space, things all of a sudden become cluttered again? Like, have you ever wondered why it's extremely difficult to let go of something that you really don't need to hold on to? And to be honest, I just recently experienced this feeling myself. Like, have you ever wondered why you still feel closed in and trapped and cluttered, even if your space isn't? It's because this up here has not been dealt with. This is still cluttered, this is still unorganized, and this is still far too concerned with the reflection of my space and how it looks and feels, and instead of the reflection of me and how I look and feel about myself first. It's mental clarity and then emotional clarity, followed then by your physical clarity. Now tell me that doesn't make any sense. If you enjoyed this, make sure you give this video a thumbs up for me. Also, make sure you leave a comment down below telling me how this conversation made you feel. I love to know. I love to carry on the conversation with you. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome to my channel. I'm really glad to have you here. If you enjoyed this and you want to join this community, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you're notified every time I drop a video. And always remember to stay true to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.